You may be oversaving for retirement right now and not even know it. There is so much focus today on how many people are undersaved for retirement, and that is certainly a challenge, and it's a significant challenge for a lot of people. What I don't see people talking enough about is how many people are oversaving for retirement. And when you oversave for retirement, you end up making sacrifices that could cost you dearly over time. So in today's video, I'm going to help you understand when it's okay for you to stop saving for retirement to ensure you aren't making those unnecessary sacrifices in your life. Hey everyone, I'm James Knoll, founder of Root Financial Partners, and I'm here to teach you what you need to know to create a secure retirement. Today we're going to talk about when it's okay to stop saving for retirement. And if it sounds weird that a financial planner is telling people to stop saving, that's exactly what I want to do. Now, this isn't necessarily for everyone, but what I see is too many people saving only for retirement, deferring, thinking things will be better in the future, and they're not doing so with any intentional plan in place. So what we want to focus on is the role of saving for retirement, what that should do for us, and when it's okay to stop. Now, a big part of the principle that we're going to talk about today comes down to compound growth or compound interest. That's really the core of our conversation today. Let's look at an example to illustrate that. Let's say that you start saving $10,000 per year every year from age 25 to age 65, and let's assume that those savings or those investments earn 8% per year for you. Well, in your first year, after 1 year of doing that, your $10,000 has turned to $10,800. So of that balance, most of it was contributions that you're putting in. Only a small portion of it, 8%, was growth on your investments. After 10 years of doing this, you have $144,000 in that account balance. Now, if we look at where the growth came from in that 10th year, $10,000 came from you still continuing to put $10,000 into your investments, and then $11,500 came from growth on your money. So it's kind of an even balance there. The growth was almost half new contributions and half growth, pretty similar. By the end of 20 years, your account balance has grown to $457,000. In the 20th year, $10,000 came from contributions of new growth. $36,500 of new growth came from growth on your money. Meaning, growth on your money was almost 4 times as impactful in increasing your account balance as was the contributions that you're making. Now fast forward to the last year. Again, you're doing this from age 25 to 65. By age 65, you have $2.6 million in your portfolio. With that $2.6 million, in the 40th year, there was growth on your portfolio. $10,000 of that growth came from new contributions that you were making. $208,000 of that growth came from growth on your money. So what we see is in the beginning years of investing, it's your new contributions that are doing almost all the legwork for you. In the final years of investing, it's the growth on your money that's doing almost all the legwork for you. And now sure, your new contributions are certainly adding to that, but they're having a smaller and smaller impact on the total growth because your portfolio has hit that critical mass where most of the growth is happening within the portfolio, not necessarily new contributions that you're making. So why does that matter? Is this just a lesson in compound interest? No, it's certainly not. There are very real world applications of this. When you look at the traditional retirement, there's almost this sense of we work, we save, we invest, we defer, and then we enjoy. Well, the enjoyment factor is that retirement piece, according to most people's thinking. But I want to rewire that a little bit. Because as simple as that thinking is, and it gets the job done, we have to ask ourselves, at what cost? Or what are we sacrificing if that's the only way that we approach this? What are we saving for in our 401ks, in our Roth IRAs, and other investment accounts? What are we saving for if not for future consumption? Really, we're saving today and deferring today so that we can consume in the future. Well, if we're already on track for our future consumption needs, what is the role of continuing to save more and more and more for that? At some point, those new contributions aren't adding much more to your future lifestyle because your future lifestyle needs are already met by your current portfolio and the growth it's going to generate on its own. So at that point, why do we continue to invest? Now, it's somewhat of a rhetorical question. There still are some tax benefits. There's still some growth opportunities. There's always more things we could spend on, but I want to look at this from the standpoint of when is it okay to stop saving and what are the benefits of doing that? Well, one of the benefits of not saving anymore is it helps with some of that work-life balance. A lot of people I work with, they're in their final years of work. And sometimes people love their jobs and they love their careers and they don't mind staying another few years. And for that, that's wonderful. It's great where you can earn a salary doing something and also have the enjoyment that comes with doing something you really care about. Other people, though, it's the exact opposite. They've done well saving, they've done well investing, but they're only sticking it out at work because they can't wait until they can retire. Because when they retire, they can travel more and golf more and spend more time with family and do things that are more impactful for them. But today they feel like they can't do any of that because they're so busy saving and investing in order to prepare for that time. Well, in some of these cases, people come to me and they say, James, this is my challenge, what's the solution? My solution is stop saving. And they kind of look at me with this confused look of, why on earth would I stop saving? I'm trying to get to this point where I can play more golf and travel more and do more fun things, and say, yeah, stop saving. If you look at your portfolio is doing most of the work for you. It's not your new 401k contributions. It's not the new investments that you're making. It's the growth on a portfolio, if properly invested, that's doing most of the legwork for you. The benefit of that is now if you're not maxing your 401k, if you're not saving as much, it gives you more disposable income today to not defer all those fun things to the future. Play more golf today, travel more today, give more today, do more today. And when that happens, work just feels different. When they don't feel like they're working so hard today and for the next few years just so they can have fun in the future, now there's more of a balance. They're working and maybe they don't love their job, but if they're able to do fun things on the weekend or after work or on their vacations, it makes work a lot more bearable. And it gives more life. It prolongs how long they can continue working for before they fully retire. And in those cases, when it prolongs how long they can work for, we'll run two scenarios. If hypothetically let's say, what if in one case they want to retire in 3 years because they're burnt out and they're sick of it and they only have 3 years left in the bag? The other case, they continue working for 5 more years. The difference is, in the case where they're working 5 more years, they're no longer putting money in their 401k or IRAs or anything else. They're enjoying more of that today, and in doing so, it's breathing new life into how long they can continue working for. Believe it or not, this individual that works for 5 more years but doesn't save anymore oftentimes comes out ahead in terms of the total financial impact. The reason for that is it's not the new contributions that are doing so much of the legwork for them, it's the growth on their investments. And if they now have 5 more years of those investments to continue growing, as opposed to 3 more years, plus a little bit of contributions here and there, that can oftentimes be most impactful. Now, I want to be very clear, this depends upon how much you have in your portfolio, what your spending goals are. It is not a clear-cut solution for everyone, but I see that more often than not. One of the cures for hating work and wanting to retire as soon as possible is not feeling like you have a life outside of it. So if we can say, can you create a life outside of it? By redirecting saving into spending and consumption and enjoyment today, it prolongs how long people can work for sometimes without feeling so burned out. So let's quantify this more. If you're listening to this and saying, okay, I wonder if this is the solution for me. Can I stop saving for retirement? Let's look at 5 things that are important to know that will help you to maybe determine if you can stop saving for retirement. Number 1, you can stop saving for retirement if you've already saved enough. Now this one is almost painfully obvious, but if you have enough in your portfolio to spend what you want to spend when you do retire, there's not necessarily that need to continue saving. Again, there's tax benefits. Sometimes it's just nice to have more of a cushion. There are some benefits to it. But if you feel as if you already have enough, there's not necessarily a need to continue saving if the amount you have can fully support your retirement when that day comes. Number 2, maybe you don't currently have enough, but maybe you're on track to have enough. So for example, maybe you're 55 years old and you want to retire at age 62. And you've calculated that, you know what, by age 62, I need $2.5 million in my portfolio to sustain my lifestyle. Well, today, maybe you have $2 million in your portfolio. So you're not there yet, but if you have 7 years left to go, if you could just get about a 3.2 to 3.3% rate of return on your current investments, you don't need new investments going in to help you get there sooner. That growth rate on its own will take you to where you need to be. Now, is it a guarantee that you're going to get 3.5% over those 7 years? No, but it's very likely. It's not unreasonable to assume that that could happen. And as long as you have some flexibility and continue to plan and monitor this, you'll be on track to retire at that point without any additional contributions, which means you could potentially stop saving for retirement. The third time where you can think about stopping saving for retirement is when you feel as if you're sacrificing important things today. And this is the biggest one, I would say, because so often retirement's about hitting a number for people. They obsess over it, they sacrifice for it, they're deferring everything for that number. And they hit it, and it's anticlimactic. Maybe their number was $1 million. And when I hit $1 million, I feel like I'll be secure and I'll be ready to retirement. But then they hit it and they don't feel any different. And in fact, it just moves the goalpost. So now I need $1.5 million. Or maybe their number was 2 million and they hit it, but now it becomes 3 million. Or maybe their number was 5 million and they hit it, but the goalposts just keep moving. So when this happens, it's very anticlimactic. And what we realize is a number in our portfolio doesn't magically bring us a lot more financial security. So if we're just saving and deferring because we're trying to hit some magical number, but we're giving up and passing and sacrificing on things that are actually most important today, that is a point at which you should stop saving for retirement so that you don't live your life and look back one day and have regrets that you saved a whole lot more for retirement, an amount that ended up being fully unnecessary, and you gave up the things that are more important along the way. The fourth case in which you can stop saving for retirement is when legacy and other goals aren't as important to you. And what I mean by that, if you're continuing to save and you're saying, yeah, James, I know I have enough, but I would love to have a legacy. I would love to help family and have an amount that's here well after I'm gone, continue to support children and grandchildren and so on. Well, great. There's some benefits to continuing to save because whatever you don't spend, future generations can. So if you're looking at retirement and saying, you know what, that's not super important to me. What's important to me is having an income I can't outlive and making sure that I'm comfortable. Well, once you're there, you don't necessarily need to worry about saving more than is necessary to support your lifestyle. And then number 5, the fifth time where you could consider stopping saving for retirement if these other things are in order, is if you don't need the tax benefits. If you're looking at this and saying, yes, James, I understand I don't need to save for retirement for the financial benefit per se, but I'm in a really high tax bracket. And I'm not doing my 401k just for the investments, I'm doing it to reduce my taxes as well. There's a lot of validity in that. And you can make the case to do that just for the tax benefits, less so even than for the investment value. But if you're in a relatively low tax bracket today, and if taxes aren't a big concern for you, that's another case in which you can forego some of those if you have the funds necessary to be on track for your retirement goals. So I think the takeaway from this video is do not let retirement be the all-consuming goal. Life isn't just broken down into 2 sections, pre-retirement and then retirement. We want to make sure there's that balance. We want to prepare for the future. We want to invest wisely. We want to be prudent in our planning. But if we're so focused on that we miss today, that's just as risky in a different way than being so focused on today that we're not planning for retirement. So sometimes it's hard to unpack this on your own. This is where having someone objective come into play can be very helpful. Reach out to your financial planner. If you don't have a financial planner, reach out to us. But this is something that is hard to do because retirement and money and these decisions, it's emotional more than rational many times. But the takeaway is find that balance, do what you need to do to focus on your future goals as well as your current goals so that you can live that very fulfilling and balanced life. Thank you for watching. I'm James Canal with Root Financial Partners. If this video is valuable to you, please share it with someone who you think could also find value in it. And if you haven't already done so, please hit the like button on this video. Please subscribe for more content like this. It really helps for more people to find this content. If you want more content just like this, check out our podcast called Ready for Retirement. And if you're looking for services to help you with your retirement and creating a financial plan for yourself, be sure to check us out at rootfinancialpartners.com.